Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bit Talk. Today we have a very new and renowned guest with us. Welcome, ma'am, to Bit Talk. It's a pleasure to have you here. And for our listeners, Savi ma'am is an architect and renowned Vastu expert. And now I'll give the floor to you to just introduce yourself and start from. So, this question we ask everybody who comes on the podcast. It's that how did you get into architecture? So, you can start with that.
Perfect. So, I was all growing up. I was a very, very studious kid. So I was smart and studious. So I still remember I was going for a student exchange trip to Germany and Switzerland, and I was in the 10th grade at that time, and I was in that mindset, right? Oh, science, maths, commerce. What do I have to take? And I always knew that I want to do something creative, but at the same time use my studious side. So I was confused, whether to take science or arts, because commerce is something that I was like, ye nahi karna. But when I went to Switzerland, and we were in Luzerne, so we took this ferry, and we were taking a boat there.
Yeah.
And when I was just in that space and just looking at the buildings in Luzerne, I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to design beautiful buildings. That aha moment that you get. I remember that very vividly, and that's where it all came. And then, I came back and I told my parents, this is what I want to do. And nobody in the distant relatives was close to architecture or anything like that. But I was like, this is what I want to do. And ironically, I was just, my husband and I just went for a trip to Europe last month. And I made sure that I took that boat ride again after 15 years.
Get that? Yeah. That's that's a great story. That's a beautiful story to process. How did you get into architecture? I think rest of us, it was just ki, acha theek hai, this is JE respectable enough, maths, drawing. Let's get into it. But that's a beautiful story. So,
So I was like, easy. The great, this is what I wanted to do as a.
awesome. So, uh, got into architecture school. Now the 5 year struggle, or if it was the other way for you, how was it for you? Like the school, all of it.
Yes. I came back, right, from that trip, and I said I wanted to do architecture. And then I researched and researched. And then after 12th, I was giving these, the state level tests, etc. And I got myself admission in Kamla Raheja, Mumbai, which was my first priority. And I went there. 5 years, which are actually a mix of everything. I enjoyed my journey there because I really like designing and the fun things you get to do, etc. There were times where I would feel that maybe बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहा है, but then one thing that I always kept in mind was anything that I ever did in my life, whether it was in the 10th grade, me thinking I want to do architecture, I always followed my heart. Like if I enjoy doing something, I'll do it. If I don't, I won't. So there were times where, because I grew up in Ajmer, which is a smaller city, right? And wherein, so I had never lived in an apartment, for example. We used to have our own bungalow. And every time my father would come in to Bombay, and every year you're shifting the house. So every time he would come to my new house, and I would crib that, dekho, this is how I'm living here, because just to act, right. And I used to always live walking distance from Kamla Raja, so I was in Jubu all the time. So he was say, like, I didn't ask you to do it. You can always come back home. Say, I was like, nahi, I'm enjoying it way too much to crib about now. So yeah, I think I enjoyed it. Yes, if you tell me, would you go back and do it all over again? Maybe tough.
Sure, they can help us will do.
Maybe tough. But I think I enjoyed it. It was not like a college life. What you see in Kanjor movies in Bahre. It was like it was like a school.
To me, it was like a 9 to 5 office. You can't escape. Yeah.
We are started at 8 o'clock. 8:50.
Oh, okay. For us, it was 9 till 6, and with like a 1 hour lunch break.
I think ours ended early. Did you see it 3 or something? I don't remember.
Okay. That's fine. Cool. Okay. So you got through architecture school. What happened next?
Uh, so I did my internship from Ahmedabad. I was at Matharu Associates. So again, I wanted to live in different cities and explore different cities, right? So I was in Bombay. I stayed there for 5 years. I stayed in Ahmedabad for 6 months because I was like, this is a design. I wanted to explore different cities. So I stayed for internship in Ahmedabad for 6 months. And now I was like, okay, I've stayed in Bombay for 5 years. And now that I'll be ORBA, I want a slightly better standard of living. So I said, okay, let me go to Delhi. So that's where I went. I was working in Hoscars for a year.
Okay. Yeah. So, how much time did you spend practicing and what led to your switch from, I won't call it a switch, but like extension to Vastu?
So, so ironically, the first, I was very excited, right? After 7 years, because I knew I wanted to do architecture from 10th grade, right? So after 7 years, I was like, now I'm going to live my dream, and this is going to be it. And 3 weeks into this new firm I joined, I get handed over. So it was like a small firm, studio firm with 8 people and two principal architects. I get handed over with villa that the client had bought in one of the ATS projects in Noida, which we were supposed to do interior. So I was like, very excited, and I was heading that project, getting stuff ready because it was a big villa, which was doing the interior, but still I was excited. It's not architecture state. So, the client walks in, and even before I can show him anything, he's like, last week we met a Vasti consultant, and these are the guidelines he's giving. Damn it. Excuse me, who? Uh, this was my first reality check that, because this is something I never heard in Kamla Raheja, right? We were always talking this for good light and ventilation. You're good to go. The budget is good. And I was like, who's this new Vastu consultant person that we were spoken about? And growing up, my parents never believed in Vastu, so I had no exposure to it.
Yeah.
Oh, what is this? Why is this? Like, I studied for 7 years. I still have that degree. Why? Wouldn't do that. So every 15 days, I would do something new for him, only for him to come and say, oh, now we met. तो वास्तु कंसल्ट ना पहले वाले की रिपोर्ट इतनी अच्छी नहीं थी तो अभी ना वाले ने ऐसे बोला है listen, what is happening? Like, ek batao, stick to it so we can finish it. Like, for 6 months for an interiors project, we could take and cut to a point wherein, after working there for a year, not just because of this, and also because, again, I thought architecture meant designing because I said I wanted to design beautiful buildings, right? But I realized was the practice, it was not just about designing beautiful buildings. So I actually wanted to pursue sustainable architecture.
Okay.
That is your original plan. I wanted to do that from UK, but then after working there for a year, I was like, if practicing in India is like this, I can't do it.
Don't know.
So I'm a very, very passion-driven person, right? So as soon as I realized not what I can do for the rest of my life, I put a pause there after 1 year. I said, I can't do this. I need to do something else. So that's when I realized I was a lot more into. I used to love learning about architecture, not as making the drawing of it could be a 2 mm thickness or a 4 mm thickness kind of a thing. So which was I started giving interviews for more like architectural journalism kind of profiles.
Okay. Awesome.
So I landed my dream kind of a job. I was working with uni.xyz. They do actual competitions worldwide.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was like my dream job because it was not like a job. It was more like a hobby. First, they had flexible timings. So like I could walk in at 7 o'clock and end my day at 4 o'clock. As long as I'm finishing my hours, they did not have a problem. So I'm an early person and I would want the evenings to myself to chill in Delhi city. I was reach at 7 o'clock, and then the boss that I have, he was also from Nagpur. So the of uni are also from Nagpur. So the the one I used to report to, he was very chill. So in the morning, once he comes by, like, let's say 9:30, 10 is when he used to come. The morning, at least 1.5 hour would go around discussing something architecture, right? Because my job was every day think of, oh, what kind of a design competition should I write about today? Which country do I want to research on? So it's like creating design projects, right? I'm making a questionnaire for students to then design. It was amazing. Uh, in the morning, the first 1 hour, I had to just skim through Arc daily. So it's like not work, right? It's like chilling, more like. So doing that, and I think that part was amazing. But then I met my now husband during that period, and we decided to get married. And then because of my wedding, I'd taken like a 2-3 months breaks from bed, and I said I'll rejoin once I shift back to Delhi. Yeah. Unfortunately, I got married in, unfortunately, right after our marriage, COVID hit. So we got married on Jan 2020. We went to a honeymoon, came back, like we came back on 9th March. And my joining was from 21st March 2020, which is we decided to start a lot now. And because they were like at that point a startup, and it was a new situation for everybody, so I couldn't rejoin them because they were also not sure of things. And then ultimately I joined for a month, that it didn't work out and stuff. So eventually it didn't work out. So now the reason why I got married at such an early age was because I didn't want to pause in my career. And now I was like, oh my God, what is happening? So for 2 months, I was looking for journalism based jobs in Delhi. But I wasn't getting any specifically because all journalism based stuff is in Bombay and not in Delhi. So I was like, okay, now what do I do? So yeah, that phase was really, really down. And that is also when I realized that, so the family I married into, my father-in-law, he had been following Vastu for 20 years in his life. And just his story, how um, Vastu had him change his life, got me curious कि यार ऐसा क्या है जो हम architects को नहीं पता and so going so bamba about it. So if your job bhi nahi lag raha tha, and I'd always been a studious kid, so I was like, let me learn something new. So found a blog job, joined that, and found a teacher who I was able to align with, who I could ask logical questions. Okay, as a designer, how will it make sense if I have a big glass window here? Will it make sense from a design point of view? So that's how I started learning. So yeah, that's how that was the first moment when I got into Vastu a little bit. And then it was just organic because, so I joined there and I started applying things. So one of the things that I learned early on over there was put a blue color bottle with money plant in specifically this spot of your house, and you will get new job opportunities. And I was waiting to get job opportunities. I was like, let me just try it. So I may go through my house, put it on AutoCAD because architecture back week. I put bottle, and for 2 months I was not getting anything. I put the bottle. In 1 week I could get 3 random journalism based jobs in Delhi.
Oh, awesome. That is amazing.
But I was like, ये तो manifestation है, ऐसा थोड़ी होता है. How can a plant give this? Right? So I kept experimenting on myself. And every time I would do something, I would get result, but I would say, but how is this not manifestation? Because I already knew this is going to happen. So which is why my logical brain, right? Ki, how do I believe it's not manifestation? Because I am a strong believer of manifestation. So what it was, I did 50 free case studies for people around me, where I would go to their house. I would tell them, okay, don't sit here, change this curtain or whatever. But I wouldn't tell them it's a ho paak hai. I wouldn't tell them that. So after one, I would call them and ask, ये आपने किया क्या हुआ? And when I heard their answer, it matched my theory to what I was expecting theoretically. So for example, if I was expecting ki if they were sitting here and talking versus if they sit there and talking and they will get more clients, I did not tell them this will get clients. I just asked them to do it, and they told me I got new clients these months out of nowhere. So it matched my theory. So which is when I started to take it slightly more seriously. Yeah, then I joined an app. There I did like more than 1,700 clients in just 1.5 years. And because of the architecture background, I figured how I can do it virtually. And that's when I realized that so over there, I would talk to people from US, Kanyakumari, remote, Gujarat, and UP, everywhere, right? Anybody could call you. And that's when I realized that people are living in beautiful homes, but they're still not living a beautiful life. Then what's the point of that beautiful home?
Yeah.
And my initial dream of designing beautiful buildings changed to designing beautiful lives. So that's what we do now. And that's also when I started teaching architects about Vastu. Because when I realized if just a purple color curtain in a certain direction of a house can give issues like cancer, and not just one case, I saw multiple cases like that. Then, as an architect or as an interior designer, isn't this our duty that if we are designing somebody else's house and if such a small thing can cause cancer, then we make sure we don't do it. There's an interesting saying when you read one of the traditional Vasco manuscriptures, it's called Vishnudharma Prakash. Where one very interesting statement over there is, which says, अगर स्थापति means architect, अगर स्थापति ने निर्माण करने में कुछ गलती की है तो उसको मौत की सजा होनी चाहिए. Means if the architect made a vastu error while constructing somebody's house, he should be punished with a met punishment, because till the time this person is going to stay in this house, because of this architect's mistake, he is going to suffer.
Okay. That is very deep. Yeah.
That's very, because the idea why I started teaching architects was that, see, me having a journey of not believing in Vastu to believing in Vastu and starting my own practice around it, no matter how much I grow, I can only do, let's say, not even 1% of the entire world, right? We will have a bandwidth. But if architects, interior designers, if they start implementing this knowledge while they are constructing itself, the world wouldn't need Vastu consultants.
Great. Yeah, I think that is true. But I feel there is also like this skepticism with architects who are like so passionate. If I am designing, why is there this like 10th, 11th factor coming in? Because there's like multiple factors existing now. So then now the Vastu is here as well. So how do I make that space designed by me, so that there's this ego battle that is always happening with any consult.
True. That's so true. And that happens because on any side, you have a Vastu consultant and you have an architect. Now, the architect doesn't know what Vastu is, and the Vastu consultant doesn't know what the design is. Which is why the battle, because the architect tells the client, ऐसे नहीं करोगे तो ये project अच्छा नहीं दिखेगा, मेरा design है. And the Vastu consultant saying, ऐसे नहीं करोगे तो आपकी light बर्बाद हो जाएगी. Now the client is like, what do I, right? Which is, or if let's say there's no Vastu consultant and if the architect is just Googling information, on Google you are just seeing the standard principle. अच्छा master bedroom southwest में डाल दो, kitchen southeast में डाल दो, मंदिर northeast में डाल दो, and you are like, अगर हर साइड पे यही फिक्स करना है तो मेरे को डिजाइन वेराइटी करने को कैसे मिलेगा?
That is true. Yeah.
But the truth is, Vastu is not just that. If you learn about Vastu in that, you will understand southwest is just one of the directions where you can have a bedroom. There are 10 other directions where you can have a bedroom as well. So now, once you understand this, imagine if let's say this was your plan and earlier you thought कि master bedroom से भी यही आ सकता है. Versus now you know कि ये पूरे area में मैं कहीं भी दे सकती हूँ. तो doesn't that give more flexibility to your design? Now you're just saying कि अच्छा इधर नहीं करना है ना, इधर सब मैं कर सकती हूँ, तो मैं यहाँ भी एक्सप्लोर कर सकती हूँ, यहाँ भी एक्सप्लोर कर सकती हूँ, यहाँ भी एक्सप्लोर कर सकती हूँ. तो the reason architects feel कि Vastu restricts their design is because they don't know all the rules of the game. And once you know all the rules of the game, then you can play that.
Yeah.
It's for your design. So now if you don't know this, you can play with them.
Even with the offices that I was a part of, they knew like couple of thumb rules. Ki north, we can't do that. North mein there's the temple, this goes here, this goes here. The stairs should be clockwise. Yeah, article where I don't remember, but like there's this thumb rule bunch of that, and they just practice that, and even the client has their own thumb rule sometimes, and this is happening.
Yeah. Tell me something. If as a designer, I tell you, let's say you know nothing about design, you come to learn design, and if I tell you, देखो 4 थंब रूल है डिजाइन के, वॉल आए तो उसको टर्न कर दो, डोर आए तो उसको ऐसे कर दो, लेट्स से 4 ऐसे थंब रूल मिल जाए,
Yeah.
will you be able to explore design by just these 4 thumb rules?
No, definitely.
And are these 4 thumb rules enough to know everything about design? So similarly, you are treating Vastu as 4 thumb rules, but that's not what it is.
Yeah. And I feel there's always, like you said, if you don't know what it is, how will you respect it, appreciate what it is? So with Vastu, I think, I don't know why this skepticism is there, because it's like that the older scripture, it's like the scripture. So if we're believing everything written in our older scriptures about everything else that is respected, and people always come up with, okay, this is being said in our Vedas and this and that. But Vastu, they just, like the architects just disregard ki this is, you're not being modern. That is the term that generally comes up. So I think that is because of the fact that we are not aware of it as much. And I think it should at least be a part of Indian architectural education system, to just, because there is always a lot of literature on it. So what is it? How is it happening? I think that is something every architect should at least look into. Then they can make up their own opinion.
2 questions that I would like to ask the architects who are watching this video. First, Vastu Shastra has survived 6,000 years. Okay. Do you remember the name of your grandfather? Maybe you do. Great great grandfather? Maybe yes. But what about his father? It's your family tree, but you wouldn't know the date. Vastu Shastra has survived 6,000 years. There would be something that works there. Otherwise, it wouldn't have survived. And second thing, I understand that the way Vastu has been marketed, it feels like a marketing gimmick and it doesn't work. But before making a judgment whether it works or it doesn't work, try it. Try it to say whether it works or doesn't work. And if you wish to try it, I specifically designed this course especially for people who are skeptical around Vastu and want to know कैसे work करता है या work करता है नहीं करता है after, because it's only when I saw changes in my life that I started believing in it as well, right? This course is called Vastology. It's a 90 minutes course where I'm telling you the exact things that you can do, just like the blue bottle remedy that I told you about, the exact things you can do. And it is all about money, right? So if you are working somewhere, maybe you can get better job opportunities. If you are trying to get your own clients, you can get your own clients. If the savings in the house are getting hampered, what to do? If you have too much expenses, what to do? So these are very simple remedies that I'm telling you in 90 minutes. You try it. What is the worst that will happen? A, they work and you get a new client, right? So what's the harm? And B, if let's say it doesn't happen, then at least you know that you have taken a decision, okay, Vastu doesn't work. But then don't say that without trying.
Yeah. Okay, cool. This is just for my curiosity. Like, can you give us like at least one or two as some tips, which I'm just curious. This is just curiosity, which have given you like a bigger impact over all of your clients and your personally, like any such tips, a little tip.
You want to, what do you want? You want better relationships, better health,
More better health. Yeah.
better health?
Yeah.
Then it is very important that the place where you keep your medicines is very important. I have seen a lot of cases where usually in a lot of households I've seen people don't keep their medicines organized. It's just randomly kept here and there, or you keep it at your bedside table. कोई इधर पड़ी है, कोई उधर पड़ी है, right? Or a lot of expired medicine you have at home and you don't throw them. You don't clean up your medicine rack as often. I have seen that one of my students, she did one of my course, and she was not an architect. She did the other course that I have for non-architects. And she came back to me after a month and she told me that before watching the course, she was going through hormonal issues and she was taking medicines every single day for the last 8 to 9 months. When she watched the course, she learned that there is a specific location which is horrible for medicines because that's an area linked with disposal. So anything you keep in a disposal area, logically it'll dispose of, right? If I keep medicines, health will get disposed of. If I keep money, money will get disposed of, right? So she learned that in the course and she realized how medicines were kept there. So she immediately picked up medicines and she shifted to the location that I recommended instead. 1 month later, she called me and she said, it's been a month and now I'm off medications. Only by doing this shift. So even this sounds to be true, it works like magic. It's like saying 2 plus 2 equals to 4. So when you apply Vastu with accuracy, I mean, if you just randomly use phone compass and try to figure directions, it will not work. It will not work. If you actually want to see results, like especially for, let's say, medicines, the best direction to keep medicines is northeast direction. So just for your reference, let me just show you this. So the direction spanning between 11 to 33 degrees is your northeast direction. If you keep your medicines over here, it is good for the general health in the family.
Oh.
Now, the key here is it has to be kept between 11 to 33 degrees, as I mentioned. It cannot be 35 degrees. Then it won't work.
Okay, so it's that precise.
That precise. And for you, how do you get this precision? So I have a course called the Vastu Mapping, specifically for architects. There I'm telling you, see, AutoCAD, you know, Google Earth, I'm sure you must have used. Now, I'm explaining you how you can use AutoCAD and Google Earth and create a drawing of your house with the directions. We'll use something for example. So for example, something like this. So it's a plan of your house with the directions. So you don't have to worry about 11 to 33 degrees because in that course, I tell you how to map this for your house and then you can try this remedy that I've told you. If you try using this remedy with a phone compass, it may or may not work because it's very tough to get the accuracy without making the drawing.
Okay. Okay. That is great.
Yeah, that's why you would have heard a lot of people say, हमने वास्तु कराया था, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ा.
Yeah, because it's not measured and precise.
Because usually Vastu consultants are not architects who can draw such detailed drawings.
Yeah. Okay. That is something new that I discovered, that it has to be in a particular like angle. Okay. So I think you might have covered it a little bit, but I do want to specifically ask you ki how do Vastu and contemporary design principles work hand in hand?
So, let's say this is a plot where you are designing. Okay. Now, let's say this is your north, this is your south, and this is your west, and this is your east. Now, let's say you have to construct only on 1/3 side of the plot. And you need to decide, should you do it here, or here. Okay. Now, your sun is going to rise from here and it's going to set from here. Which means it's going to move like this. Which means you get the morning nice light from here.
Yeah.
Right? Which as architects we love. Right? It's side light. And then after, let's say 11, 12, depending on where you are in the world and your season, etc., you will start getting like harsh light from here until sunset, which as architects, we don't really love as much.
Yeah.
It's like direct light, right? Now, if I want to construct, does it make sense to create bigger windows here? Because the light is more filtered.
Yeah. It does.
Does it make sense to create bigger windows here as well, since your technically sun is never directly there, so you always get indirect light.
Yeah.
Right? Now, does it make sense to create thicker walls or smaller openings here, since the light is so harsh that even a small opening can lit up?
Yeah, it does.
Does it make sense to you so far?
It does. It does. That's what we are taught in school as well. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what Vastu principle is. Vastu principle talks about the northeast side or the east side should have bigger openings, and your southwest side should have smaller openings.
Okay. Yeah.
So isn't that logical?
Yeah. That aligns with what we are taught and as a logical reasoning behind your opening. Yeah.
The problem is that the way you usually hear Vastu consultant says, northeast should always be light, southwest should always be heavy. Nobody explains to you in this way, which is why you feel this and this are very different. But in reality, both of you are saying the same thing.
Yeah. That's true. Okay.
Because of the transition from being an architect to a Vastu consultant, hence I know how to communicate this to you as an architect, because that's how I learned it and accepted the knowledge system of Vastu myself.
Yeah. So, do you think because of your architectural background, you're able to better explain it to, let's say, any architects that you work with on projects?
Uh, because when I'm working with any architect, I would first understand what is their design principle, what are they wanting from this project. And once you tell me that, let's say, from this project, the idea is that the indoor and outdoor should merge. It should feel like a natural escape. The house should feel, it shouldn't feel like your house is ending. It should be merged, like as soon as you open the window, you could just step out and step into the garden, sort of a feel. Once I understand that concept, I can probably tell them that, okay, if this is your concept, according to this, to do it on this plot with these directions, maybe have your garden or these openings more towards these sides and less towards these sides. So once I give them a designed thumbnail as per their design, as per that side, then it becomes easy for you to design.
Makes sense. Yeah. Definitely.
Versus when you're trying to read on the Google and you're trying to match that from your design, it won't match.
Yeah. Well, like in our offices when I used to intern, a hand-drawn plan used to come, which was not anywhere like resembling the architectural plan that the office had made. And it was like a completely different plan. It was like a new plan altogether, which had like, okay, this is what you should make, which does affect the designer in the end. It should be the dramatic.
Like you change the entire design. Like you're asking me to do a wall here, but I actually wanted the view of the view of the pool on this side. Like this is not even making sense.
Yeah.
I've had clients who had those struggles until they found us, and then they're like, oh, now a design so can go hand in.
Much more smoother. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now I want to move on to how can somebody get into Vastu? So how do you know if you're meant for it? Like,
What I recommend anybody who asks me. So because I've had that journey, I have specifically created courses that helps you understand first what the subject is. So for example, if you're somebody who's skeptical and you want to understand that, does it really work? If that is your question that you want to first answer, then you do this program called Vastology. It's just $500, literally lesser than your movie ticket or your pizza, but it helps get a new client or save money when you apply it correctly, right? If you are somebody who knows Vastu works, but you want to understand, okay, what happens when I learn Vastu from a person who is from an architecture background? Like, what the difference does it really make? Then I have a course called as the Vastu mapping, which I was talking about earlier, where I'm explaining to you how using softwares that you already know, you can create these plans for yourself Um, so this way you're able to understand how the directions are mapped, as long as as well as it also gives you a window as to how, how, what is our way of explaining a particular concept. And then if you find that interesting, then we have the longer 5-week course where we teach you how to design as per Vastu. So that is a 5-week online course that you can take. And along with it, we are also launching our Vastu book, which is like, and the reference was like how we as architects used to use new forts in college, right? That, okay, design करना है, tip, hospital करना है. So this is like a new forts of Vastu for architects.
That is amazing. That's a very good concept. Yeah.
So which is why next time a client comes to you and says, इसको वास्तु compliant करके दो या वास्तु compliant बनाना है, you don't have to Google the 4 thumbnails, because all the rules of the games are laid down in this book. All you need to do is flip through, see which rule is applicable on your site, and design accordingly.
Great. Great. I think that will be a very useful tool because, yeah, it's not compiled somewhere. If it is, it's just
Then
approved.
yes,
Yeah.
easier. And then if say any client tells you or their Vastu consultant tells you, no, you need to change your design this way, you can cross question or answer them that, okay, you're saying this probably because you wanted this area to be lighter, right? But what if I do this approach wherein you are able to more design at the same time, because now you know the rules of the game, they will not say no to the alternate that you share.
Yeah. So, another question that is coming to mind is, if I'm an architect and I do feel that I want to like explore Vastu, do you recommend practicing first, or is it okay if you just want to switch directly? Do you think that gives a backing or knowledge in terms of
See,
Vastu?
I feel like this is what I personally feel. If somebody wants to get in Vastu, they want to first understand if they believe in it or not. Like, why we do what we do is because I realize that I don't just want to create beautiful spaces, I want to design beautiful lives, right? If you believe in this mission, but you will only believe in this mission once you believe that by applying Vastu, you can create beautiful lives. So, unless you try it on yourself, and that's how all my students or all my current team members have joined me, because they first learned it from me, they applied it on themselves, they said that yes, it is making sense, and that's when they made it a mission that yes, we believe in your mission. So unless you are yourself convinced that yes, it works and gives results, which you will only be once you see results for yourself, not because you've seen this podcast. I mean, do it yourself first, and then when you see what to expect from the film, every case is a new case. You can never be bored. Every case is a new case, because every time I'm looking at a new project, there's a new set of challenges, new kind of paintings they like. Every case is a new case. You can expect a lot of variety. Unlike architectural projects, the term of these consultations, it's much short term, right? It's not like it's going to go for 2 years. Consultation might go for two months, 3 months at max, and then you're done with that project. You can move on to the next project, right? So these are some yeah, it's more fast paced. You could do more work in less time. I think every project is a new project. You could still continue to do the design work that you like, that you're currently doing. As an architect, if you want to not switch, but actually merge it into your current practice, you see 4 out of 5 people in India look for Vastu while buying a house. Now, you are not providing this, maybe your competitor would and your client would go there. Or versus, you spend X number of hours on a particular project and you charge X number of price. I've had students who increase their pricing by at least 10% when they say, oh, if you want a regular design or if you want a Vastu compliant design. If you want a Vastu compliant design, we charge 10% extra for this. The amount of time you spend in designing is literally the same. You're able to get more, and the client will still pay you for that because there are not a lot of people doing.
Yeah, cool. So this is also a thought that popped into my mind. You are aware of how much fresher architects or like just junior architects are making currently. It's not the highest. And do you think having an additional like skill set to you, for example, Vastu, adds to that pay scale? Do you think that will help them out?
See, what I feel is right now, like my students who learn Vastu from me, they were able to get a higher pay because the regions where they were working or the company, like again, not every architectural firm will welcome, oh, you have an additional Vastu skill, we pay you more. Not every firm. But I know a lot of firms who work with bigger clients will, because the bigger clients, let's say the Birlas or the Ambanis or whatever, they don't do anything without Vastu. So if you can tell them that, oh, I will be able to be the in-house Vastu guide as well, for such kind of firms, definitely you can demand them that, an additional cost for it. And my students have got the better packages because of this.
Okay, great. So like you said, there is no formal path as such. It's just based on you, what sort of courses, resources you use and educate yourself, and then you eventually can switch to like a consultant or maybe just use it as part of your own practice. Okay. I was asking how much monetary investment do you think somebody will have to give to like getting to know Vastu a bit more? Yeah.
Again, there are multiple courses in the market. I can tell you with respect to the courses that we offer on as a ballpark. So I think the how to design as per Vastu course and the other course are maximum, I think, 15 to 20,000 uh, at max, and that's like at max is what you might have to invest to learn up till a level so that you can start designing as per Vastu. And yes, once the students learn from me, and if your intent is maybe not to start your own practice, but maybe get more into Vastu and designing, we are always hiring. So if you want to join us, you can apply here as well.
Awesome. I would also like to now mention that there is like a obviously the newer generation Gen Z is like coming to workplace, coming to buy housing, make decisions. So they're like the industry or the market, everything is now targeting Gen Z. So do you think there is this generational divide in Vastu acceptance as well? Do you think the younger folks disregard it or regard it because you've been working in this field? So, what do you think the general trend is? What is happening?
Yeah, not just 20s. I would feel people of our generation, or like, I just turned 30, so like, same there. So, like, I think the idea is that unlike our parents' generation, where they would follow acha ye bol diya hai to karna hai, sort of, because of the way things were, and you couldn't question your elders as much. Whereas now, uh, unless you see a logic, you won't do anything, right? So, even now, if somebody is asking इससे होगा क्या या logic क्या है, once somebody, like for example, most of the people most of the clients that we attract are these kinds of people who believe in a logical understanding, which is why they come to us, simply because they feel open to ask us these questions and they know that I will answer. So as long as they understand the logic, for example, I explained you using the sketch which you said you have learned at college, but I told you that's what Vastu is. So now when I explain something so logically to you, you will accept it.
Yeah. So, it comes down to backing everything with logic and yeah.
Logic and reasoning. If you get the logic, people will be good. And again, if you see the result, once you do something and once you see the result, then you're sold, right? You will do it.
Okay, so talking about results, like you have worked with thousands of clients at this point. So, is there any particular case that stayed with you that that was so empowering and so significant that it will convince anybody? Yeah.
Oh, there've been multiple. I talked two of them, which were significant for my own learning when I had just started out. And again, so I was still exploring, right? How much of a difference can something as small as this really create, right? So, for example, since we were talking about health, I'll share this example with you. So, this was one of our initial clients that we got. Wherein she mentioned she had been living in that house for a couple of years, but she was originally from Hyderabad and she'd moved to Gurgaon. And I think from 7, 8 years she was in Gurgaon, and she said that maybe the Gurgaon weather doesn't suit me, the pollution doesn't suit me because she was always sick. But then this house that she had moved into was just 2 years back, and this was a rented place. So she asked me that I'm facing constant health problems. Can you help me with that? I said, see, whatever health has worsened, it has worsened. We can't undo it. What we can do is it doesn't worsen more. Because by then, this was my first health based case. Now, when you look at your house, the northeast direction that I told you about, right, which is a good direction to keep your medicine, that is key for your health. Okay. Now, in her case, her entrance was coming from the northeast, and you have this servant room right outside the house,
Yeah.
right? Well, her servant room she was using as a storage room, like most households do, right? Now, all I asked her to do was empty that room. Because as per Vastu, like the drawing I showed you, right? Northeast, we said we wanted to be night. So the logic comes it he lighter as well. So I said, you remove everything from here. I told her where she can keep stuff. And a lot of stuff, she's like, I've just kept it. I don't even need it. I said, throw it then. It's just grabbing bad energy. And when I told her, I said, maybe it'll take 3, 4 months for you to understand health benefits because your health has already deteriorated so much. Don't expect an overnight change. She did it. And I think within 3 weeks, she called me and said, I've never felt this healthier in the last 7 years since the time I moved to Gurgaon. That shocked me as well because I was not very sure that, okay, just by making such a small change, how long will it take for her to see the results? But she observed it within 3 weeks.
That is very fast. Yeah.
So that's like super quick. That's what happens when you apply Vastu with accuracy. Now, another case, I will tell you, I was looking. So, right now, since mauve, the purple tone is very in right now, and a lot of interior designers are using this. But this video, like this story is about why you should not be using this color. The first case I saw that this household, again, towards the northeast and northeast side, they had these purple color dots. They had been living there for like 10, 12 years. And when I spoke to the client, she said both her parents had cancer in that house. Okay. This was the first case I saw like that. Theoretically, from my teacher, I had learned that the purple color doesn't work. Why? I'll tell you in just a little bit. That was the first case. And every time I shared this story with a student or with a client, they told me another of their relative who also faced a cancer problem because of a purple color tone in that direction. So that's how I was able to see a lot of cases around this. Now, why? What really happens? Let's break it down. So a purple color is made of blue and red, which is a mix of fire and right. Now, when these two opposing elements mix together to form a color, this color, as per Vastu, them doesn't suit anywhere in your house. So then your question would be, if I have purple color in my house, will it always cause cancer? No. It depends on where you put it. So, for example, in these cases that I'm talking about, since they had put in a direction which was linked with health, that's why they faced health-based problems. Versus if you put in, let's say, a money-related direction, you will face money-related problem. So, it depends on the direction you go. But the moral of this is, in any case, it's not doing any good. So, please stop listening.
Get rid of it. Okay. Cool. Those are pretty interesting stories and like case studies. Like anybody can dig up. I feel like then see the impact. Very interesting. I also wanted to ask, like, since you help out so many people on a regular basis, do you find yourself satisfied with what you're doing right now? Like, you've been in this field for so long. Do you find a sense of responsibility, satisfaction, any feeling that is attached to it?
Oh, I feel it is very, very satisfying. I'll tell you why. Because every time a client messages you, for example, the other day, so early this year, I had spoken to a client and looking at her house, I was in shock because, like I told you, purple color is bad. She had purple and peach all over her house. I was like, oh my God, why are you living here? And the irony was, as soon as she signed up for the consultation, the next day she got to know that her mother was detected of cancer. And after that, she spoke to us after 1 month. That's when I got connected with her. And that's when I saw her house. And I asked her to do some changes in terms of colors, etc. And after 3 months, we get an update from her that she got engaged and her mother is out of cancer.
Mm, mm,
So now you get messages like if you get messages like this, how can it not be satisfying, right? You get a message that okay, somebody's husband was struggling for a promotion since 1.5 years and suddenly he's got it after your changes and they're so happy. A client calling me and telling me that this was not the first priority when we consulted you, but I don't know how it has happened, but ever since we've made these changes, we sit together as a family for dinner every single day, which never happened before this.
that's great. Yeah.
So it's crazy, like it's crazy. The amount of satisfaction is more than anything else can get.
Yeah. Great. So, Ma, I would like to conclude this talk here, and it was a very insightful and rich conversation. I think I was also like intrigued personally in a lot of ways because I've never given Vastu that big of a thought, but I think I will try to explore it now so that I can tweak my personal space. So before we sign out, can you just share last few words of wisdom for any student architect or maybe just a general pope listening to our talk today?
I think just do what you love doing. If you're not enjoying what you're doing, don't do it. It's not. It's not.
Awesome. Great. Thank you, ma'am, for coming to the talk, and it was a pleasure having.
Likewise. Thank you so much.